Peggy Jo Tallas yearns for the wildlife.
She just did not feel a need to conform.
But her wildest side only comes out when she puts on a disguise.
This idea came into her head. I'm gonna rob a bank.
As a bearded bandit, she'll strike banks across the state of Texas.
Excuse my English, but I said son of a bitch. This bandit had struck us 2 times in the same day.
But just how far will Peggy Jo go for easy money and the thrill of the chase? Beachside, Mexico. A tropical getaway surrounded by warm ocean waters. It's the life Peggy Jo Tallas has always dreamed of.
Peggy Jo would talk to her friends about just giving up everything in the big city and going to Mexico and living on the beach.
She drinks in all this sun-drenched paradise has to offer. For now, Peggy Jo is living the dream. A dream she's been chasing for over 20 years. Grand Prairie, Texas is a small city just outside of Dallas.
Please go get the plates for me, sweetie. Yeah, sure, Mom. You'll come out. Thanks.
Peggy Jo Tallas is a teenager in a typical American family. Even so, there's something different about Peggy Jo.
Her brother was on a high school champion basketball team. Her sister was a high school majorette. And Peggy wanted to have nothing to do with any of that. She just did not feel a need to conform.
Unlike her well-behaved siblings, Peggy Jo rebels against the conventions of the straight-laced small town.
She had a wild streak. Her best friend used to call Peggy wild at heart.
Unfortunately, there's only so wild you can get in a small city before someone shuts you down.
What? What? Oh, man.
Policeman one time pulled her over and gave her a ticket for speeding.
Sorry, ma'am, but that's the law, okay?
Okay.
Ticket.
She was so irritated that she tore up the ticket right in his face.
Ma'am! Ma'am! Hey, ma'am! Stop! Ma'am! Ma'am! Stop! Ma'am!
She was an adventurer, a person who seemed to have a strong need to have experiences that were out of the mainstream.
Peggy Jo knows she's not going to get those experiences living in Grand Prairie. So Peggy Jo quits high school after the 10th grade, moves to downtown Dallas, and gets a 9-to-5 job as a hotel receptionist. It's not exactly wild at heart, but at least it's a step in the right direction. Then she falls in love.
There was one guy that in particular really appealed to her. According to the rumors from her friends, he worked as a vice president of a bank.
It's a whirlwind romance.
She was really happy. He was the love of her life.
And the feeling is mutual. Or so Peggy Jo thinks.
One day she decided to surprise him. She comes to his office and she sees his car. And then she sees another woman inside that car.
I'm so sorry. I thought this looks so much like Richard's car.
Oh, this is Richard's car. He's inside. I'm just waiting for him. Who are you?
What are you doing in Richard's car?
I'm his wife. Who did you say you were again?
You're his wife?
She had been lied to.
Excuse me.
The love of her life is a married man. And as high as Peggy Jo had flown in her new romance, that's how far she falls.
Peggy was completely deflated.
Reeling from disappointment, Peggy Jo moves to an apartment in Irving to lick her wounds and tend to her ailing mother.
Her mother began to get sick and needed someone around to help her around the house.
Do you have everything you need?
I think so.
Okay, you'll call me if you wake up, right?
Sure.
This is not the way her life was supposed to go.
I think Peggy saw her life slipping away.
And if she didn't do something to radically alter her life, that she would never fulfill some of the dreams that she had for herself.
The closest Peggy Jo gets to living an adventure is watching it on TV. And old westerns thrill her every time.
Peggy Jo's favorite was Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. It's about two men who basically went about the country robbing banks.
The bank robbers are living the life Peggy Jo Tallas wishes she had. They march to the beat of a different drummer.
She never forgot this impulse of who she really was. The wild at heart girl that wanted to buck what society told her to do. And this idea came into her head. I'm gonna rob a bank.
And Peggy Jo knows exactly what she needs to do. If she's going to become a real-life bank robber, she's got to dress the part. She'll have to cross gender lines and the law. A bearded bandit is about to step out of the shadows and into banks across the state of Texas. A man walks into the American Federal Bank with a bushy beard and Wild West attire. He looks like a character cut from an old Western. When he gets to the counter, he passes a note to the teller. It reads, "This is a bank robbery. Give me all of your money, no marked bills or die packs." The teller follows the instructions to the letter.
He didn't brandish a gun, he didn't fidget, he never spoke, and he was in and out in 60 seconds.
Before leaving, he tips his hat in a classic cowboy gesture. The robber comes away with over $1,200 and a new lease on life. Because the mysterious male bank robber is actually Peggy Jo Tallas.
Peggy got cash, but most importantly, she got a thrill.
And it's a big one. So big that she can't just leave it at that. The bearded cowboy bank robber strikes again 7 months later. And then again 1 month after that.
Basically, that became her life. She was a bank robber.
The bold heists are making headlines. And law enforcement gets serious about catching the cunning and elusive bank robber they've now dubbed Cowboy Bob.
Cowboy Bob. He always wore gloves. We never had any fingerprints.
He knew the bank tellers were trained to put in die packs. He would look through the money just in case.
Basically, we had zero evidence. this bank robber was beating us.
Peggy Jo Tallas thrives leading a double life. As Peggy Jo, she follows the rules, takes care of her ailing mom, and even uses the ill-gotten gains to buy her medication. As Cowboy Bob, she's totally in her element.
I think that was a huge part of the incentive, that she could do it, that she could be successful at it, that she could continue to fool other people and could outsmart the authorities.
It's like taking candy from a baby. And there's no reason to quit now. Cowboy Bob hits the First Gibraltar Bank in Mesquite and walks out the door with almost $2,000. Several hours later, Cowboy Bob robs another bank and pulls in the highest take yet, close to $14,000.
Excuse my English, but I said, son of a bitch. I just couldn't believe that this bandit had struck us 2 times in the same day.
With her newfound wealth, Peggy's dream of a Mexican getaway is almost within reach. But along with the rich rewards, the heists come at a price. Inside Peggy Jo Tallas, a craving is growing to keep the rush of excitement up and the money rolling in.
She was increasing the risk factor. Her addiction was escalating at that point in time.
Cowboy Bob is about to raise the stakes yet again. And it's Peggy Jo Tallas who'll have to pay the price. After pulling off 2 bank robberies in a single day, Peggy Jo's appetite for larceny remains unfulfilled. She craves the easy money and the rush. In the guise of Cowboy Bob, she goes back for more and more and more. But then Peggy Jo slips up.
So, can you think of anything else? Did you see anything outside, perhaps?
Yes, I did get the license plate number.
A witness sees the getaway car license plate and notifies investigators.
This one under the password.
The FBI runs the plate, and they trace it to a woman who lives in Garland, a city northeast of Dallas. Agents stake out the house. Soon, a car pulls up.
That's the car.
Now, my first thought was, this is Cowboy Bob's girlfriend.
It doesn't occur to anyone that Peggy Jo Tallas actually is Cowboy Bob.
Excuse me, ma'am? Agent Powell, FBI. I'd like to ask you some questions, please.
Okay.
Can you tell us your name, please?
Peggy Jo Tallas.
I said, baby, this car was used in a bank robbery today, and I want to know where he's at.
Mustang.
No, I'm the only one who drove the car. I'm the only one.
Do you mind if we take a look around?
Of course.
Okay, check the house.
A search of the house quickly betrays the secrets of Cowboy Bob.
We found all the money from both robberies under the bed.
And that's not all they find.
There was a mannequin head, a styrofoam mannequin head up in her closet, and the cowboy hat was on it.
It's all there.
What have you got?
Disguise, money, everything.
And then it clicks.
And I looked at her real close, and on her top lip, it's hard to describe, but it looked like gray glue.
Him is her.
And it hit me. I knew that she was my bank robber.
You're under arrest.
Peggy Jo Tallas' stint as Cowboy Bob is over.
I put the handcuffs on her.
Okay, let's go.
And she never spoke to me again.
Friends and family are stunned.
She might be one of the last people on earth that they would ever suspect of doing something like this.
In November 1992, Peggy Jo Tallas pleads guilty to bank robbery and is sentenced to 33 months in prison. She's finally released in 1996.
She clearly seemed ready to start a new life when she got out of prison.
For almost a decade, she stays on the straight and narrow. But in 2002, her mother dies. And the old desires begin to call out again. And so do the old dreams.
She still had the dream of going to Mexico, of living on the beach, and having that beach life that she used to talk about in her early 20s.
To make that dream come true, she needs money. And Peggy Jo knows exactly how to get it.
She thought, let me just rob a bank or two, and I'll have the money that'll be sufficient to fade off into Never Never Land, and I'll be happy the rest of my life.
Will Peggy Jo pull off the heist and claim her piece of paradise? Or will she die trying? Peggy Jo Tallas is gearing up for one last bank robbery. If she can pull it off, she'll be able to make her break for Mexico and spend the rest of her days south of the border in sun-drenched paradise. But for this final heist, there's a twist. Cowboy Bob isn't invited. Peggy Jo is going as herself.
I think she was wanting to interject even more risk and more daring into carrying out the act.
Peggy Jo adds a mysterious flourish in her message to the bank teller, which says, "I am sorry, he made me do this."
No one knows why she said, "I'm sorry he made me do this." Was it because she was still thinking about the man that betrayed her years ago? Was she thinking about her old persona as Cowboy Bob, and that persona was calling to her?
The bank clerk hands over all the cash in his drawer, more than $11,000.
That's a big haul for Peggy Jo. That'd be enough to get her to Mexico.
She fled the area in her getaway vehicle.
Within minutes, law enforcement is in hot pursuit. Finally, the chase stops.
Don't move! Get out of the car. Out of the car. Come out with your hands up.
Peggy Jo is surrounded.
Slow. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Hands behind your head.
She didn't say anything, and it was as if she was sizing everybody up.
Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. Keep your hands up. Do not move. Stay where you are. Drop the weapon.
The suspect displayed a handgun.
Drop your weapon. Drop the weapon.
The officers were telling her to put the gun down.
Drop the gun. Drop it. Drop it. Drop it. Don't move. Gun. Sit down.
Peggy Jo dies at the scene from multiple gunshot wounds.
It's fake. Gun's fake.
It's what you call suicide by cop.
She lived out the life of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. They too weren't going to go be taken away by the cops. They were going to die their own way. They died in a blaze of glory, and so did she.
Peggy Jo yearned for a life of freedom and adventure, but found it only in dreams. She lived for them, and ultimately, she died because of them. In the end, reality finally caught up with Peggy Jo Tallas.